If I was Joe Biden, I'd say, hello, Alaska. And no one would even bat an eye, right? You saw last week, he couldn't get Ossoff's name right. He said something totally different because he doesn't even know where he is. But he definitely got a lot more votes than Barack Obama did in 08, right? We all believe that, right? No one's that stupid. No one's that stupid, folks. But that's why, we can do Hunter too if you want. I mean, in all fairness, guys, I take that one a little personally because I look at sort of what they did to me and to my family for 4 years. Fake Russia hoaxes, fake Russia collusion. Didn't stop them from running with it. Frankly, they're still running with it as though it was real. But when someone's actually taking money from the Chinese Communist Party, no one has a problem with it. I always ask, if it was Donald Jr., what do you think would happen? Vernon, what do you think would happen? Jail, at best? I mean, they did say they accused me of committing treason, a crime punishable by death, minor details. You know, a little crime that they hang people for, or firing squad, but when someone's actually doing it, no problem. When someone's taking money from Russian oligarchs with ties to Putin, as long as you're a Democrat, it's okay. Agree? And that's why we have to fight to prevent that double standard from being executed. It's why we have to be in the game. You, the people of Georgia, can decide what we, the people, can do to a Democrat administration and the Democrats. By winning the United States Senate and holding that line, regardless of what happens, you can do what they tried to do to my father for the last 4 years. You can put the people in there that will block their radical agenda. Their agenda that would lock down your business, that will lock down your schools, that has locked down your churches. You can cast the vote for logic, for reason, for common sense, all of those things that aren't so common anymore in the Democrat mindset. And while we're thank you, sir, I appreciate that, but let's focus on tomorrow and then January. I love you too. And I love you too, sir. It's okay, you know, it's... Well, guys, guess what? You can do that. You can be a part of that by putting fighters in there. And David Perdue, senator, he's up tomorrow. He was, I believe, the second senator. I'd say the first, but he was at least the top 2 senators in 16 that came out for Donald Trump. Do me a favor. Go fight for him tomorrow. Kelly Loeffler has fought for Donald Trump and will continue to fight for Donald Trump. Fight for her tomorrow. Again, you guys can decide. Now, I hear this all the time, and this is like one of the dumbest things ever. You know it's dumb when the media latches onto it to try to make it so, because you know they're trying to do the opposite of what would be good for you, for us, and for America. Right? That's their thing. They push the Chinese communist propaganda talking points because they want that money. They don't care so much about America. So what you guys got to do is you got to get out there and fight, because I see some of these supposed Republicans out there saying, oh, I don't like the way the game is played. I'm going to take my ball and go home, and we shouldn't go vote. I go, what? something because there's been a lot of Democrat administrations. So that is a serious statement, but I mean it. Guys, when you're at a disadvantage, you don't take your ball and go home. You get out there and you fight harder. You think? No, think about it, right? You guys like Trump? Yeah. I think you like Trump. What did Donald Trump do back in 2016 and 2015 when they said, I believe it was something like 0% chance of winning, right? We had a 0% chance of winning the primary. We then had a 0% chance of winning the general. Everyone counted us out. What did he do? He went and he fought like an animal, okay? He wasn't going to take their put-downs. He wasn't going to take them laughing at him and stop. He was going to fight because this country is worth fighting for. Our freedoms are worth fighting for. Our children are worth fighting for. And guys, as the father of 5 young kids, yeah, I know how that happens now. I got a new hobby. I got into politics. It's almost as brutal. But as a father of 5 young kids, I want them to recognize the America that I know and love when they're my age. And the way we're going right now, guys, they're not going to. You saw, I believe it was yesterday, they introduced the start of the 117th Congress. And they ended the prayer with a man and a woman. Think about this. A man and a woman. It tells you everything you need to know about the Democrat Party. I mean, these people are freaking morons. I mean, think it now. You can never be woke enough to appease these people. You can't do it. Like, you can't try. They're not even a parody of themselves at this point. It's insane. Amen is not a gendered term. Okay? If I go to a restaurant and I ask to see what's on the menu, they would look at me like I'm a moron, and they would be right. Okay? It's not a gendered term. And by the way, if it was, who cares? What are we, 3? But the start of the 117th Congress ended with amen, as it should. A little Latin word that means, so be it, whatever. You know, it's only been used for a couple thousand years, no big deal. But because it had men in there somewhere, even though it had nothing to do with men, they had to also include the women. Now, I like including women. Right, Kimberly? Where's Kimberly? Right, Kim? If I don't include Kimberly, I'd be in big trouble. You don't want the Puerto Rican pit bull on you, trust me. Right, baby? Am I covered? We good? Did Kimberly do a good job? No one works harder than Kim, I promise you. But she's fighting for what we all believe in, folks. That's what makes it easy. I don't do this for a living, amazingly enough. Unlike Hunter Biden, I was actually an international business person before politics. Not because of politics. But when I see what's going on, when I see the nonsense that they're throwing at us, when I see that Georgia has 2 people running for the United States Senate that would both be the most radical senators in the Senate, the most radical leftist, socialist, commie bastards you could imagine, coming from the state of Georgia, that worries me. One, was on China's payroll. John Ossoff. The others, I mean, did you see that video of his wife? Brett's telling the cop, no, he's a wonderful actor, he's a terrible person, he beat, I mean, imagine that Warnock was a conservative. And there's a video of his wife accusing him of beating her, running her over with a car or something like that. It's insane, right? Imagine that was a Republican. He wouldn't be able to leave his house. He wouldn't be able to get a job. He certainly wouldn't be running for the United States Senate in Georgia. But because the media and their leftist agenda, they give him a total pass. Like they give Joe Biden and like they've given all Democrats. Like they gave Nancy Pelosi, who's more than happy to lock you down with her rules that she doesn't have to abide by. COVID is very serious, but it's not serious enough to not force you to go to Washington to vote for Nancy Pelosi. COVID is very serious. You better not open up your business except to give her a haircut. And then, when someone calls her out on her flagrant hypocrisy, rather than owning it, because she knows she doesn't have to own her mistakes, her glaring errors, she doesn't have to own them because she knows the media will cover. Rather than owning it, it was a setup. Holy shit, it was a setup. I mean, in all fairness, she's number 3 in line to the nuclear codes. I don't want someone who's number 3 in line to the nuclear codes being set up by her hair salon. If you're being set up by your hair salon, how are you going to do against Iran? How are you going to do against Russia? How about China? We must say that with the correct vernacular. China. Right? China is so thrilled that the media is pushing for Joe Biden to win this thing because they know they got it. Imagine the stuff that we've seen about Hunter, all those things that they won't cover on the media, even though no one's actually denying that it's all accurate. Imagine how much more they have. Imagine how much more their spy agencies have that our media, one person dug for about 3 minutes and they found some pretty substantial stuff. Imagine what the Chinese government has done to make sure they can exert control over America, which is what they've wanted for years. Trust me, when China sees Congress opening up with a prayer that says amen and a woman, they are laughing their asses off. And if I was them, I would be too. We should be crying because it's pathetic. But guys, as I've said, the United States Senate could be the last line of defense. And it's up to you. All you got to do is show up, but you can't listen to the morons saying, oh, we don't want to participate. You got to go work harder like Donald Trump did. When faced with adversity, when faced with what everyone said was insurmountable obstacles, he went out there and he fought harder. And we need you to do that for the next 24 hours. We need you getting out there and voting yourselves. We need you calling your friends. We need you texting them. Don't let Georgia be the starting point for the radical left in the United States Senate, because that's who they are running. It's up to you, Georgia. Listen, what do I know? I'm just a guy from New York City. But I do like my guns. I think you do too. I like them a lot. That's on the line. Your religious freedoms, that's on the line. Everything is on the line because, as they've said, everything is on the table. You heard Chuck Schumer, right? First we get Georgia, then we change America. They're not even hiding from the radical agenda anymore. There is no such thing as a moderate Democrat. That party is long gone. This party, this Democrat Party, is a Marxist socialist party. It's a communist party. You notice the difference between the red states and the blue states and how they've handled lockdowns? At this point, it seems like the blue states, they don't even care if they put you out of business. It's the first time in American history where you get into more trouble for opening your business than you do for burning down someone else's. We can't allow that to happen. We need to fight. It's up to you guys. It's up to you. All right? You gonna get out there and fight? Imagine what would happen to you if you chanted USA at a Democrat rally. It'd be ugly. I mean, it's sort of nice. You had the prayer, you had the pledge, amazing. They wouldn't even think of doing these things anymore. You know, to them, that would be some sort of form of oppression, I guess. You know, you saw that, right? 2 weeks ago, they tried canceling Helen Keller. No, you saw that, right? Helen Keller, who was born in 1880, was blind and deaf, became an activist. They canceled her because she was white privileged. True story. I mean, it's like a comedic writer could not come up with things that are dumber or funnier than today's Democrat Party platform. So again, you guys have a choice. You can show up tomorrow and vote. You can put up that last line of defense. You can put David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler back in the Senate so they can fight for my father, so they can fight for his agenda, which they all want to reverse on the Democrat side, right? They want to raise your taxes. They want to close your schools. They want to get rid of energy. They want your taxpayer dollars going for free health care for illegals. Not for yourself. You have to pay for that too. But for illegals. They're not looking out for America. And they're not looking out for Americans. Just look at their actions. They speak for themselves, guys. But we need to wake up. We need to be engaged. We need to stay engaged. And we need to fight like Donald Trump fights. If we do that, we win. And we can save our country. And we can use the time to fight for more people who will actually fight. More people who will actually engage. Not like the Mitt Romney, Paul Ryans of the world that, not like them. But we can fight for guys who will fight for what we believe in, for women who will fight for what we believe in, to preserve all of the things that made America the greatest nation in the world. But if you don't get out there tomorrow, guys, you may never get that chance. You squander that opportunity. The Democrats, they've said it. They're going to pack the courts. They're going to give D.C. and Puerto Rico statehood. That's 4 permanent Democrat senators. And it's over, folks. They know it. Like I said, they want you to be dejected. They want you to be upset. They want you to take your ball and go home. That's been their dream for decades. They want you broken and beaten so they can push their nonsense through. Do not allow it to happen. Have the resolve that Donald Trump had, and you can get the results that Donald Trump got. Right? Think about it. Look at all he's accomplished with zero help from the Democrats. He grew the strongest economy, rebuilt our military, held our enemies accountable, put pressure on. I mean, the things that his accomplishments go on and on. He actually got things done because he was willing to take on Washington. But if you take your ball and go home, you'll never have that opportunity again. Once you lose those rights, you don't get them back. Just look at what the Democrat governors have done in those states. They were really quick to take your freedoms, not so quick to want to give them back. Don't let it get there, guys, okay? So, Georgia, you have a mission for the next 24 hours. Let's get out there, let's kick some ass, let's win, and let's send